access is rather rickety with a 2 metre jump, so it's not something that you can do, and it is a couple of $1,000 fine, so not good. But on the front of it, you can see there's a handrail. That's called a Juliet Balcony. Now, that was actually the most popular spot to propose to marriage here in the mountains. It actually has a 100% acceptance rate. You can see what? Alright, let's go for a walk. It's quiet. We're on your own. I'll show you a couple of things.
It's a good thing about having built in that. She doesn't take. I will.
Oh yeah.
We'll put them all together later.
So this is a lily pilly, one of the what can grow to be a rainforest giant. None of the trees here are older than about 130 years old, and unfortunately, most of the trees here were cut down to use in the mining system for the coal mine. But this one here, well, you guys on that side. See, it's all black in the centre.
Oh my God, look at
This was hit by a lightning strike about 35 years ago. Anyone seen a tree get hit by lightning?
Yes.
It explodes. A lightning strike is about 16,000 degrees Celsius. It is hotter than the surface of the sun. So if you get hit by a lightning strike, that's what it's going to do to you. I got hit by what's known as a side splash of a lightning strike in September. Hit me in the back of the head. I'll show you what happened. You look at this one, and you can see it's on this lean. Yeah. Now, this tree was leaning so much on this tree, you can see the big bend in this tree to hold the weight. What did this tree do? It grew this. That's known as a lignotuber. It's grown from the root ball. So the tree's basically doing this to hold the weight. It's grown another leg at the back to help hold itself. So showing signs of sentience or consciousness, awareness of its surroundings, and responding to stimulus in order to help itself survive. So it's a survival instinct. They decided to cut this one down in 2017 because it looked like it was going to take both of them out and demolish the path. And after they cut it down, look what happened.
Oh.
It regrew. Now this was dead. It had no leaves, it had nothing. It was falling to pieces and it was falling down. So that's why they cut it down. So how did it regrow? Anyone? I'll explain soon.
Dun 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 dun.
The reason the lightning hits, the evidence is in this rock. Now for one, Lewin's honey eater, that one. Yeah, that's what I mean. Terrible. Doug, squirrel. Yeah. You look at the size of this rock. Can you imagine this coming down from the top of the cliff? And that is exactly where it came from, and we know that because of these layers within the rock. Now we were standing on these layers at the lookout we were at. This is ironstone. The ironstone gets leached out of iron-rich soil and deposited in a thin film. And we get layers of that build up over time. That's what sedimentary rock is, layers building up. So it's water flow. So this is the same layer that we were standing on at Lura.
Wow.
Right up the top. The reason the rocks come down, well, for one, the roots of the trees get into the cracks in the rocks and gradually split the rocks apart. If there is any water in the rock, the roots are going to grow further so the cracks get bigger. If the temperature gets below zero, what happens to water when it freezes? It expands. So the liquid turns into a solid and it expands. It's the only liquid that does it. Now, the mosses and the lichens that you see as well, they have acid in the roots. The acid is actually eating the stone grain of sand by grain of sand, so it's dissolving the rock. So eventually these will decompose back down into the soil. The different layers of the rock erode at different rates as well, so we end up with seams that overhang and the area underneath disappearing due to it eroding faster, and then the tree roots do the rest of the work in bringing the rocks down. The good thing is it does usually happen in the middle of the night. Not all the time, but usually. Let's hope so. Have you played rock, paper, scissors? Yeah. Paper beats rock, yeah. Yeah, the answer's right there. Paper destroys rock. Now we used to walk from here around that way to get to there. But in February 2014, this rock arrived. Sideways panorama.
Oh, God.
When you get the whole lot. You like that?
Yeah.
That's it. That is the old boardwalk right there. So this big rock here, if you look into the tree, you can see where the laser is. Yeah. Now look to the left and you can see the laser on the rock. That's where this rock came from. Crash, bang, wallop, and hit the old path. Yeah. So there's the staunching over there.
How is your laser so strong?
Because it is. I amplified it. So, they knew what they. This happened at 2:40 a.m. and they know that because the motion sensor at the main building went off on February 13, 2014. Light means heat. Heat dries the soil out. Any wind comes along, it can blow the soil away. So the plants respond to the light by growing, and it covers the ground entirely to stop any loss of moisture from the soil. That will happen until the trees grow again. So we've got a tree in the middle growing, got a tree over there growing, another one there growing, another one at the back, and then these ones here down the front. These will eventually grow up and almost fill the canopy, but then we get vines come in, and the vines grow up, over, and connect all the trees. They thicken it to over 80% canopy coverage. Less than 20% light hits the ground. All these ferns will die off, and the forest will go back to looking like that down there where not much light. Over 80% canopy coverage classifies it as rainforest, and we do get over 2 meters worth of rain here a year, so there's no need to worry about water. A lot of it's maintained in the soil, like Jay said, because of the protection that cliff gives this section from the heat and the wind that comes off the desert in the summertime. You see the trees up there as well? Yeah. So a big white one on the left. You know where the roots of those are? In the rock. Yeah. The process is going to continue.
Walk slowly. We are blocking everyone. Walk slowly, please.
Did you got it? Okay, what's the way? Come on.
You know what it is? Fungus. Yeah, there's mushrooms there. Yeah. I might have said it before at the last lookout. When you see a mushroom, and I can see just a few here, what you're looking at is the fruit or the flower of an organism that could be bigger than a football field. In underneath all this decaying vegetation, underneath all the soil everywhere on the planet, connecting every tree and plant species in every forest everywhere all over the world is a subterranean network of thread-like filaments known as hyphae. These hyphae form what's known as a common mycorrhizal network, or mycelium. It is a fungus. About 450 million years ago, the fungus started to eat rock, and it softened it, and it turned it into soil. So soil is basically fungus poo, right? It made strata for terrestrial plants to start to exist. The fungus eats all of this decaying vegetation in the same process we use to digest food in our stomach. There's a microbiome of community to keep itself. The microbiome itself makes the same job for the trees. Eats the decaying vegetation. The fungus gives nutrients to the trees. Whereas trees convert sunlight into energy via photosynthesis. So without the fungus, there's no trees. You know we share about 50% of our DNA. Do you know what that means?
You had fun?
It was the fungus that
Let's pop ourselves like that here.
Come here.
Don't put your, come on. Bella, Bella, look where you're going.
I almost fell. What is
Just
that?
wait till it
What is that noise?
I don't know. Whoa, Zoe, chase after it.
I know.
So close, so close.
Over there.
we're going to stop there on your face.
Oh, we gotta go back.
It's on. It's over. I take the shopping and have a milk and I shove it on the ground. They're like, I know, they stop screaming.
Hey, Dylan, come on.
All right.
That actually sounds like a way to defuse the situation.
Usually.
No, come on.
How you going? You and you all right?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Very well, mate. Very well. She wants to see the video. All right. This one. This guy just here. Come, gather around. Come right around. So one's in front. Have a seat. Do you want to have a seat? No? You sure? You're going to hang from the side? I don't bite. All right. Yeah, come and have a seat. Come and have a seat in front. Yeah. The lyrebird is an incredible. If you can't see, come further around. So the lyrebird's an incredible mimic. Now he's on the back of our 10-cent piece. He's in the clear plastic part of some of our $100 notes, and he's a National Parks and Wildlife symbol. So very important bird for the forest up here and all up and down the East Coast. They're a mimic. They can imitate everything. So I can't do it any better than Sir David, so I'll just let him take over. So come seats are the ones inside and you can see. You can't see, gather around closer. Come further around. Sure you don't want that seat? Go on, have a seat. You can't see, just let her in front. Come on in. There's more space around that side.
He clears a space in the forest to serve his concept. To persuade females to come close and admire his plumes, he sings the most complex song he can manage, and he does that by copying the songs of all the other birds he hears around him, such as the kookaburra. It's a very convincing impersonation. Even the original is flawed. He can imitate the calls of at least 20 different species. He also, in his attempt to outsing his rivals, incorporates other sounds that he hears in the forest. That was a camera shutter. And again. And now a camera with a motor drive.
Oh.
And that's a car alarm. And now the sounds of foresters and their chainsaws working nearby.
What?
Oh, that's not possible.
What?
Really amazement. Not with one set of vocal cords. They have two. Yeah. Now, no, we don't want that. We have one set of vocal cords, and the depth or height of a voice is determined by how tight or loose those vocal cords are. They've got two sets, and they can alter them at will. So for me, it's the cognitive ability of the bird to hear a sound, reproduce it pitch perfect, organise it into a series of sounds like a song or a symphony in order to attract a mate. If she's not interested, she just goes about her business scratching in the soil. And he's like, right. So he keeps changing all the sounds in the song until he gets the right combination, and then good for him. Yeah. Now they mate, and he buggers off. No child support. She raises the kid on her own. She makes a nest in the ground, and you can hardly see it. So she's really good at disguising the nest. Now, the next year that the mating season comes along, he spots that girl in the forest and goes, I know exactly what to do here. And he uses that same song that he used the year before in order to see if she's still up for it. Yeah. So, and that song will evolve over years and change and move and do whatever. So they're incredibly smart. They can see for 270 degrees, and they've got these little birds that they use as watchdogs for them as well. So they scratch around in all this leaf litter. They're looking for bugs and grubs. They have to be ingesting microparticles of the mycelium as well. So I mean, if you are what you eat, they're part fungus for sure. But each one of them moves about 60 tonne of soil a year. So they are aiding to the erosion of this, allowing the mycelium to do a more effective job by aerating it and allowing the mycelium to grow easier. Incredible bird. They stay where they need to. So they just, and they'll sort of do like a loop of their territories, and the territories sort of overlap, and they will fight because they've got those long feet, long claws. And when they do, they're up in the trees when they do it. It's like an aerial dogfight. So they never do it on the ground. So yeah, so they can fly, they just don't need to. They will evolve losing their wings eventually. So just like the emu or the ostrich. Yeah. Can you imagine how big an emu or an ostrich was when they had wings? That's terrifying. Imagine the cassowary flying at you. There's no one at pterodons. Bloody hell. You seen the claw on that cassowary? How are you, man? You going all right? Doing all right, yeah? Cassowary is the most dangerous bird in the world, lives in northern Queensland. They've got an incisor claw that's about 6 inches long on their left foot. That's the other thing you'll notice about birds, and another piece of useless trivia, all birds are left-footed. True, so are polar bears. Why? I don't know. It's just bizarre. Oh, he stopped there. Okay. All right, hang on, he's pointing this out. Let's help him. That one there, yeah. Ooh, just there, yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Just there. Down here. Yeah, there. And in behind, down there. Oh, no, He's talking about the termites. So you can see the damage the termites do. So I watched this tree over about a 7-year period, just gradually, bit by bit, moving. We came here one time in 2015, and it was leaning over the path. It was leaning over that far, and I said to him, "That's going to go like today. Soon you can hear it." And they come down. We came back the next day. It was gone, and it was down here. So they took the path apart and had to fall. And you take a look at the pieces of wood as we come past. You can see the hollows in the back of it. How much damage the termites did. See in the centre. Yeah. See that? The other thing you might not have noticed. Mine. That's mine. Just there. See there? In there, funnel. Just there. This is the most venomous spider on the planet. This is the Sydney funnel web. Yeah. So the mountain funnel web, this is her. So this photo was taken here. I think it's 2018 in January. Yeah. I'll show you in a sec. But the female is bigger than the male. She's stronger than the male. And she's even hairier than the male. Which is just what you want in a girlfriend. Big, strong and hairy. But if the boy does the wrong thing during the mating process, yeah, she eats him. That's a lot of performance anxiety. She might really die. She is worth. Was she the other day? Oh, smart, yeah. Well, the boys barely survived one mating season. I found one on the kitchen floor about 10 years ago. He was 7 years old. Just the end of it, and you can see the 7 molts. So he was at least 7 years old, which meant he went through at least 2, maybe 3 mating seasons and got away with it. Or he never found a girl. So, and died with it. Poor little bugger. So that's, I mean, you see something like that looking at you. Yeah, that's the boy. He's got these spurs in the front that tells you he's got these little pedicalps at the front. So what they do, they rear back like this and they open their fangs up like that, and in order to strike, they've got to throw their body down violently to penetrate their prey. The thing is, they only affect invertebrates and primates, so we're the lucky ones. It's like devil's spoon. They're ready to kill us. So little ones, they wouldn't last an hour, but we've got about a day. In terms of size, no, this is the male. Did you see him? So, oh no, that's the female. Not only made them drunk, but made them happy. We did a chemical analysis on it, and basically full of ecstasy, so no wonder they were happy. This one's hollow in the middle. See there? So I thought if that's hollow, maybe that's hollow. Listen to this. That's hollow. Yeah, like this one. Same, not much in the middle. Eaten away by termites. But that would make a good didgeridoo right there. See the thing that Aborigines play?
Yeah.
Yeah, termites do the work. You've got to be able to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth at the same time. Figure that one out. Yep. Like this. Yeah, they had an overhead ropeway system to drag all the coal from the other side of the valley back to the train.
Why?
박수.
What are you talking about that?
But with all the wet, and so yeah, she's sort of in a silkworm web inside that section there.
I'm really late now.
Reaching out with tendrils, they cover the top, tendrils die off, and we're just looking behind. Just strong enough to swim.
So do they choke out the trees and then have on the vine?
Clever.
I wouldn't say a symbiote, but they grow in harmony, mate.
That's all right.
Are any of them poisonous?
Wow, amazing.
Sticky. I've had those.
Dad, can you raise your hand?
தம்பி பகுதி ஏ உமா என்ன சும்மா போய் டக்கு போயிட்டு வந்துடலாம்ல அது பாக்கணும் காட்டுங்கண்ணா தானே போயிட்டு வந்துருமா நான் போயிட்டு
வாங்க போவோம் போங்க. இறங்கு போ. Jaden, come here.
Yes.
Nando, diretso pa. Na kay Adriel.
이걸 가지고 뭐 돌을 피했다 것 아니야? 아니 뭐 삽자루도 하고 뭐죠? 이거 가지고 돌을 피면 안 떨어지게 다치고.
In 2016,
Please.
This pin in. That pin there goes all the way up to there. It's known as a ChemSet system, and you can see the chemical agent just there on the right. So that there's a two-part polymer in a glass tube. They break the tube with a big rod when they put it into the rock. That expands and sets and hopefully holds everything in place. It is like trying to hold back the tide. It's not going to stay there. But, the miners themselves, little Arthur just over here, he's over on the right. He's only fairly short because the coal seam's only 1.5 metres in height. On the front of his
Later at home, you can.
stink pot right there. That stink pot had mineral turpentine or kerosene in it, or even whale oil, which stinks. So you imagine that sitting here 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and you can't tilt your head, so you're just way too tall. So Emil's way too tall. Yeah, left to us shorter guys to get in. Oh, you're perfect height. How old are you now? 12? Perfect. You know what you did? Your job was to look after the pony. Yeah, that's what you did. You brushed the pony, you watered the pony, you fed the pony, you cleaned up after the pony. That's a really big shovel. When you were 16, you were in the mine with your dad with a pick and a shovel, filling up one of those every day. That was your job. In there. Now if we see this just here, just come back a bit for me so we can see it. So we're just about to go up this crack in the rock. We're standing over here, that little hole. And that hole equates to here, the plan. That plan is only a small part of nearly 100 kilometres of tunnels that extend out underground. So it's a wonder Katoomba doesn't drop by 1.5 metres. Crazy, eh? Here we come. Right back. The seam itself dates back about 252 million years, but I'll tell you about this one first because we're here. You see the overhang just there? Yeah? See the stuff below it? There's actually what's known as a geotech marker just there, and they're worried that that's going to slip, so they can go from part of the cliff and tell with their theodolite whether or not that's moved by surveying points, and that will tell them whether or not they need to evacuate or put something up. That section, that clay was once silt. Silt is formed. Anyone seen what happens after a flood? What remains after a flood? Silt.
Here,
very fine particles that are left after flooding.
Kit Kat. Here.
Look how thick the clay seam is.
Lagyan niyo po sa bag niya.
Yeah. This section here dates back about 230 years to what we call the Carnium Globulus, where it didn't stop.
No, throw away.
Give it to me. I'll hold.